All right, so some time has passed, and the Cleveland Browns NFL draft, we have had some time to process things. So we're going to go back and go with our draft grades for 2025. So let's start off with pick number one, Mason Graham.
I think Mason Graham trading back from the second pick into getting Mason Graham was probably my favorite move we've done since the 2020 draft.
So he was super pro trading back. I was not pro trading back at all because I have like PTSD with the Julio Jones trade, and to me, it's like if there's a superstar, there's a blue chip. Go get that blue chip, and I could just envision Travis Hunter as a Cleveland Brown, and I think we had some like real gamesmanship out of Andrew Barry. But now that some time has passed, and I watched the film on Mason Graham, I think that he really is. I was under the impression that there was three blue chips in this draft. After watching his film, I think that Mason Graham is a real deal blue chip player, and D tackle has been a hole for the Cleveland Browns for like a decade, and I think he's going to make it really, really hard to double team Miles Garrett, and I think he's going to be immediate day one impact. The capital that we got from that draft, like I don't really anticipate Jacksonville to be like a, this Super Bowl contender. So I think that that's going to be a valuable pick. But we also were able to pick up,
Quinshon Judkins.
yeah, the second round that ended up being Quinshon Judkins. So what would you rate that?
If I had to give that a grade, I would give it an A flat. It You get everything you need. Nick Chubb wasn't coming back. We weren't signing him back, which I hated that. But knowing that we needed to get younger at the running back position, we trade back. We get a stud at defensive tackle, which is the biggest hole we've had in our defense since God knows when. And then we go and we also get a stud at running back. So really, it's A teetering on A plus for me. What would you rate it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sad about Nick Chubb, to be honest. True Browns legend. And I'm sad that we couldn't just do him a solid. I hope that he runs for 4,000 yards. And I hope he breaks every record. And it's the biggest bounce back season of all time. He was like super close to teetering on, just going into irrelevance. And it would just have put a terrible taste in my mouth if the Pittsburgh Steelers and Minka Fitzpatrick with a dirty hit would have ended his career to a legend like that. So I'm glad that the Texans picked him up.
I hope that he takes over that RB1 over Joe Mixon. I know Joe Mixon's good, but I'm wishing the best for Nick Chubb. He's top three favorite Browns players of all time.
Yeah, for sure. When I think of Cleveland Browns, I think of Nick Chubb, and it's gonna be weird seeing him wearing a Texans jersey, number 27. That's just like I don't know. It's kind of like Brett Favre with the Jets, or it's just weird. It doesn't feel right. It feels kind of dirty, but all right. Pick number two. We had Carson Schlesinger. Um, I wanted a running back here, to be honest, but I think Carson Schlesinger is he's going to be a. I think they're going to slow play him, but um, I think he's a JOK replacement, is what he really is.
Yeah, with JOK going down, I would definitely when we first drafted him, I was like, okay, then this probably means that JOK is more than likely going to be out for the season. So I was hurt at that fact because JOK is probably my second favorite defensive player on the Browns. And so when we drafted him, I was like, okay, that's bad news, but I actually like him. I like I can't pronounce his name, Swesheimer, whatever,
Schlesinger.
Swessinger. I like him. I saw some of his film. He's a good guy. I hope that we slow play him so that he can develop a little bit. But our linebackers ever since that 2023 season, they kind of got old. So drafting a good linebacker with that second one, I was actually a pretty fan of that pick. If I had to give that one a grade, I'd give it probably about a B minus, maybe a B.
I give it a B plus. I think he's going to be a relatively plug and play. By the end of the year, he's going to be like a starter. The only like surefire starter out of this draft class to me is Quinshon Judkins. Like that is the most plug and play ready, and we got that from Jacksonville. And I think literally the Browns trading back had this sort of like butterfly effect of now we have Quinshon Judkins, which means now we don't have Nick Chubb. Because I don't think they anticipated having an extra second rounder. I think they probably would have just got Samson in the fourth round, but because they got that extra second rounder, this guy is the most NFL ready. Like you look at him, he looks like that looks like an NFL running back. Like he
Yeah.
is chiseled, he is strong, he is no homo, he's lean, he's mean, he's
And
ready to be a touchdown machine.
he's definitely a fighting machine. I think getting Quinshon Judkins has I think that's going to be a huge boost for the Browns offense. You know, I believe we ranked 31st or 32nd last year. And so now we'll be able to have a run game cuz you know, we didn't have Chubb. So,
Even Nick Chubb, like in his heyday, he was a home run hitter, but he wasn't a get you one tough yard. That's what we had Kareem Hunt
yeah.
for. And that's what we really missed last year. We were last in the NFL with the most negative plays. Like Jerome Ford, people like him on fantasy, but he'll get caught in the backfield. He might bust a home run, but he's going to get you a bunch of negative yards runs. And I think that's what they got Q for is just give me 3-4 yards. And Ohio State with the national championship, when it mattered most, he had 3 touchdowns. And I think that is he's going to be an immediate impact of like just picking up 3 or 4 or 5 hard nose, run it down the gut yards.
I think you know, him falling to us must have been a miracle. You know, the NFL feels bad for Cleveland as is, so they decided that they would give him to us. You know, if you can get 3 touchdowns against a team in the championship, I see I see potential in that, you know. He's a hard runner and he's pretty fast for his size too. He's 6 foot 2, what, 210?
I think he's 220.
He might be 220, 6 foot 220, and this guy ran like
He ran faster than Henderson.
yeah, and Henderson was our fast guy. So I think, you know, I don't think he's peaked yet. You know, sometimes running backs peak in college. I think he's got a few years till he peaks, and I hope that he will peak on the Browns.
Well, I actually like that with the Browns getting him now with that dynamic at Ohio State that they had this they neither one of them had a lot of miles.
Hmm.
So it wasn't like they had a lot of carries, and I do think weirdly oddly the fact that he ran the same 40 as Henderson,
Hmm.
which on tape looks like just so much more explosive.
Hmm.
I think Quinshon Judkins might have been hurt.
During the season,
Yeah. I
I
think he might have just been playing through injury.
I could see that. You know, there was definitely a couple of runs where you're like, is there something up with him? But yeah, the fact that he ran, maybe he just trained to run faster during the draft, but he's looking good. Pause.
Whoa.
I think you know, I think this will be a great thing. Then this could even revive Cleveland as a running team, a run first team. We're gonna run, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, that's what the Browns are going to play the Steelers type ball of like we're not that good. In fact, our roster might suck. I'm talking to you, Steelers fans.
Yeah,
Your roster is trash.
it's terrible.
But you can muddy up the water. We have a great if this defense, if the 2025 Browns defense had the 2020 offense,
We would win the Super Bowl.
we would be legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I would say that the offense is nowhere near that 2020 offense, but
No.
there are some position groups that I think might be on better than we might think.
Yeah.
All right. Like we had legitimately we had during that 2020 season, we had Andrew Sendejo playing meaningful snaps on the defense. That defense was trash. That D tackle was as bad as the QB room was last year. Like when you measure how bad, what is the measuring stick for how bad this QB class, this QB room is? It was the 2024 season. The worst. When you
Bad.
measure how bad is the D tackle room, it was the 2020 season.
Yeah. We had a bunch of nobodies playing defensive tackle, and we still made it to what one won a playoff game, got one missed call away from beating the Chiefs.
All right, let's do this. Which position group would you rather have? 2020 offense, 2025 offense. Okay. So 2020 Browns wide receivers.
I would rather have 2020.
See, I'd rather have 2025. I think that the names were bigger in 2020. We had Odell, we had Jarvis, right? The names were bigger, but if you look at the production, I think that the production of Jerry Jeudy is better than Odell was, and Jarvis was good. He was a good leader,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't like super productive. And I think I would give a slight edge, actually, underratedly, to 2025.
I think the one is definitely better. I think Jerry Jeudy is better than OBJ or Jarvis Landry during that 2020 season, but I can't put Cedric Tillman above Juice or OBJ yet. Now, he did good last year, and I think if he continues to improve, maybe I would take this year's, but I value the leadership that Jarvis Landry brought to the 2020 Browns, and I think that was a reason why the offense clicked so much.
Okay, I'll say it's a wash then because I think the one is better and the two of 2020 is better. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that's a wash. O line.
Now, last year we were banged up on the O line everywhere. Pause. And 2020 we had a great O line, great running O line. We were able to do a whole lot. Now I think I would take the 2020s.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah.
2020 was a probably
Elite.
not only the best Browns offensive line, it's probably the best offensive line of this decade. That was a special group. I don't think it's particularly close. That was a very dominant offensive line. I would definitely have that O line, but I do think that this O line
Has
is
potential.
it was gotten better in 20 from 2024.
Yeah.
But that 2020 O line was special.
There was something about that line.
Whoa. All right, running backs.
Now, I think it's a little too early to determine whether or not I would rather have Quinshon Judkins over Nick Chubb, but I would have Nick Chubb over just about anybody in the league. So I'm going to take 2020.
Yeah, 2020, no close. It's not even close. Like I think that this running back room is going to be good, but it is young. But I think that Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb combo, and we had Duke Johnson too, or not Duke Johnson. Yeah, it was no.
No, it was oh man. Was it Duke Johnson?
I can't remember the dude's name, but he was our third back, and he was a polished runner. But that was a special running back room. And I think that was probably the best running back group in the NFL at that time too.
It was.
So I think that our running back group is good now, but that was a special one, so I definitely give the edge there. Tight end.
Now, we had David Njoku still, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but that was his rookie or his second year.
It wasn't his rookie year, but he was still
breaking out.
He wasn't the David Njoku.
No.
Yeah.
I would rather have David Njoku today, plus the guy we just drafted, Farron.
Harold Fannin.
Yeah, and he looks good. So I would rather have today's tight end group.
Yeah, I think this version of David Njoku is a nasty blocker, and that version
And his
was
contested
not.
catches.
His consistency of catching is way better. He is more of a threat for sure. And then we had like Alex.
I think we had Not Alex Wright. Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper, yeah.
That was our.
And he was already washed, and he's already. I'm pretty sure he's out the league now. But yeah, I would definitely give the edge to 2025 tight end group over 2020, and QB room. I don't think like Baker Mayfield wasn't a Pro Bowler like he is now, but he was showing flashes. He wasn't consistent, but I would give the edge to
Yeah.
Baker. But overall, so you got 2020 better at QB, better at O line, better at running back, wash at wide
Guaranteed.
receiver, and tight end is better. So
It's
I think that
4-1.
the O line, the offense is better, going to be a lot better than it was last year. But that defense, not even close. All right,
Mm-mm.
let's continue with the draft here. We got pick number 3. Number 67 was Harold Fannin Jr.
Now, I didn't when I was watching the draft, I didn't know this guy, and so I had to do a little bit of research when I was watching this guy's film, and I really like it. He's more of a receiver than he is a tight end, but he can get out there and block, but that's what we had David and Njoku for. We needed more weapons, and so I really like this pick. I'm a fan of it now. I was questionable when it happened, but I like it now.
He's a willing blocker, but he's not a very technically sound blocker. But he is. I think he's a very underrated pick. This to me was a B plus pick for sure.
Yeah, I'd have to give this one a B plus as well.
Dylan Sampson, 126.
Now, I was very confused because we hadn't taken a wide receiver, and we just drafted Quinshawn earlier, so I was definitely I really wanted a wide receiver with this pick, but I went back, I watched the film, and this will be good if we're trying to push Ford out. But they're two different runners, and I think if this works out, it'll be good. But as of right now, I'm indifferent towards the pick.
See, I actually disagree with you. I don't think that this is a Ford replacement. I think that Ford is excellent if he's less than 100 carries. But when you start giving him more than 100 carries, he gets caught in the backfield way too much. I think that Ford perhaps is the best third back in the league. I don't think he's a good second option, and he's definitely not a good first option. So I think that this actually will give him a better role. And they play Samson's a smaller back, and you kind of think he's a scat back, but he is definitely a power back, even though he's smaller. I actually like the pick. I think it will stable up um, the running back room. And then pick number 5, the most famous pick number 144 was
Forgot about
uh,
Dylan Gabriel.
Shador Sanders. Oh yeah, we did. I skipped Dylan Gabriel. Pick
Oh
number
yeah.
394, Dylan Gabriel. The forgot about.
I hate this pick. I don't like it at all. I think we reached on him. I think we just took Dylan Gabriel to say that we took a quarterback in the draft because nobody wanted Shadur at that pick. Um, so I really think this was to try and keep away Shadur later in the draft. But I'm not a fan of this pick.
All right, so since I already brought up Shador, and I'm just gonna put them together, right? So
Yeah.
if you flip Shador and Dylan Gabriel, if you take Shador in the third, and then you take uh, Gabriel in the fifth, I think this draft was an A plus.
Yes.
But the fact that they did that was very confusing. And I told you before the draft even started, like I don't even think Cam Ward might be a Pro Bowler, an All Pro, and he might be playing in the CFL. And I
Yeah.
really think that his floor ceiling is like that. But I thought that Shador has the highest floor in this draft. I don't think he has a huge ceiling. Like I think he's probably like Tua, like that's probably his
Yeah.
ceiling. But I do think he is the best pure thrower of the football, and that is who I wanted the Browns to get. I wanted him to get him in like the second round with like that pick 36. So the fact that they got him in the fifth, Gabriel's fine. I'm not gonna root against Gabriel. I'm just like in my brain, I'm just flipping the picks. Um, I don't know. There was something weird with the whole thing of like. I mean, obviously Dion is the reason that he fell. Like, I don't think that there's a football reason that Sanders fell past the third round.
Yeah, I'd say I would definitely have to agree. Now you flip the picks, and I don't hate it, but taking two quarterbacks in a draft is always kind of weird. You end up with the Patriots situation, so maybe we can get some value out of because we've got four quarterbacks who will be able to play this season. So one of them's going to get pushed down. Maybe if Dylan Gabriel isn't quite what we lived up to, we might be able to get some draft capital back from him. But if we switch the picks, it's definitely at least an A plus draft. At least you can give it an A plus plus. But the Dylan Gabriel draft threw me off. But then we drafted Shadur later, so I was fine. And that's about it.
All right, guys. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, to the Ski Sports channel, and follow on TikTok and everywhere else. That is going to be it for this time. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.
Peace.